Hey everyone, Burlyman Gaming here from the Arena Gaming News Podcast, here with Fryman.
Hello. Thanks for having me again, Burley.
Glad to have you again. We're going to be talking Helldivers 2 today. Don't worry, there's not really going to be any spoilers in here. But one thing we did want to show co-op, but due to if you've heard anything about the game lately, that was not a possibility. We tried for about an hour for us both to get into the game. Fryman was able to get in the game. I was not.
Yeah. And also, I have at least put in a good 3 hours or so into the game when the servers themselves actually do work. So, for the most part, I'll probably have the most to say about it going forward. But Burley did play some of it, I'm sure, before the servers just decided to be what they are. So,
Yeah, I've put about an hour into the game if you don't count the trying to get in time. I would love to play more, but every time that I've been like, "Ooh, I want to play some of the game," server outage, which is if you're looking to pick up the game, take from what the devs said today on Twitter that if you're looking to play the game, wait a bit before buying it and let the server issues kind of get fixed. I'm hoping they start getting some new servers and more servers so that way more and more people can get in and play the game.
yeah. It is a fun game, but you really shouldn't have to really pick specific points to get into the servers to play it, especially with some people, from what I'm hearing, where they're leaving their computers on overnight, hoping to get in before the servers get loaded, fully loaded. It's like, yeah, you don't have to do that, or shouldn't have to do that for a
Mhm.
game that you want to play. So yeah, definitely just wait until a solution is figured out on the dev side for the game. But nonetheless, though, moving away from that, the game is definitely worth trying if you can play it. That is, it's a solid third-person co-op action game. Where there's a lot of things you can do, and it is somewhat similar to that of, like, some would say, I guess, Destiny, maybe the Division 2, but with
Mhm.
the obvious one being it's like Starship Troopers, because yeah,
Oh yeah.
you go to different planets and you go to different parts of the solar system so that you can fight back the invasion of both these giant bug-like enemies whose names I forgot about, honestly. The other one, which I was surprised because they only advertised the bugs, which is these robot-like enemies called the automatons, which are somehow more deadly and annoying than the bugs. But then again, I've mainly have been dealing with them in my playthrough, so my opinion will probably change when I do get facing the bug enemies more so.
Yeah, no. But one thing is, if you are playing this game solo, you are going to get swarmed. This is not an easy game to play solo. It's highly recommended that you play co-op. And as Fryman said, this is pretty much Starship Troopers. When you launch the game, if you watch the opening cinematic that it keeps playing every time you launch the game, you cannot tell me that is not a wink and a nod to Starship Troopers, especially if you've seen YouTube ads. They're fully going all in on with that.
Yeah, especially with how the your main character is almost always shouting out democracy or for justice or all these other types of lines that are very symbolic of that of Starship Troopers. It's like, yeah, 100% that is what the devs probably intended for in some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah. Now you do have your gun, your grenades, and all that your standard militarized weapons. But one of the neat things you had, because I have not played, I'll be honest, I did not play the first game, is you have the whole Strigem session where you can use it to call down for ammo, call down to do orbital strikes and other stuff, which is a really cool mechanic. But you got to be careful as you're sitting there and doing the D-pad to do set that up. You are not moving, so you got to be in a good spot while you're doing that because you can get easily swarmed and overwhelmed while you're sitting trying to do that.
Yeah, it can be like that, but also you are having to use the D-pad in certain ways to interact with certain objects in the world to do certain missions, of course. Like when you have to extract, you have to pretty much put in a combination, and you got to be very careful there. But also with the stratagems, is I'm at the point in from what I've played where I've actually starting to get the ability to buy more and unlock more. Which, yeah, they do have a good variety of them from what I have seen, but a lot of them do require you to be a certain level, and they are expensive somewhat. Which the one downside I do have is it does have some microtransactions in it, but thankfully I don't feel like you need to pay for them, but they are there at the very least, because I just feel like no matter what, these games are going to have them. But the stratagems are pretty neat because they can, if you know how to use them correctly, they can turn the tide in certain missions. They definitely helped me when I had a mission having to fight the automatons and kill like about a good, like, I think it was like 1160 of them, or something, or 160.
Wow.
Yeah, one of them. It was a really high number. I just don't remember. Yeah, you had to do that, and it's like the one orbital strike one I had from the start literally turned the tide of battle, and I was able to get out of there, thankfully. And I'm like, yes, thank God. But while you do pick certain missions as well. There are other objectives that you should do because they do give you more rewards when your final ranking when you extract. That was good because I only assumed that there was only like one type of mission, but the more I looked at the map and kind of started to understood what they were asking of me and what was available, and I'm like, oh, okay, there is a bit more. And if you had a good group of players with you, then I'd say it's like, yeah, you guys could really scour this and really get a lot of things done.
Oh yeah, and they do have your basically your daily, your weekly challenges that you've got every time you boot into the game. So you do have that to help you gain more currency in the game, which is nice. But yeah, like Fryman said, this game does have microtransactions. So far, I've noticed that they're not really you needing to do it, which is good. But it's sad to see that they're going to do this for this game and a lot of modern games as we're going to be going forward.
Yeah. Very, very much a shame. I think at this point they're just here to stay. Just maybe some are less intrusive than others, but only time will really tell. Yeah, but other than the server issues, I'm sure they have a lot more planned content down the road for this game, so I'm really looking forward to it because these are not kind of games I really kind of go out of my way to really play. But I'm kind of glad I did because this one so far has got a good base for a solid live service type product that, especially so far we've had this year and the past year. For the most part, it's not kind of middle of the road or forgettable.
Very, very true. I'm curious to see what we're going to get. But one of the nice things that I will say, like we were both playing this on PC, but you do have crossplay with this. Mm-hmm. So if you do have people, friends of yours that are on PlayStation, PS5, you can play together. But to do all that, you do have to have like signing into PSN. Mm-hmm. I've heard from friends on that. So you're going to do a couple signing into a few different areas to get it all working. But there is the option. So it is nice to see that the game does have crossplay. Hoping more and more games as we go on in the future are adapt.
For a game like this, it definitely needs crossplay though, because I feel like, especially because it's only on 2 platforms, it definitely does need it. Get itself out there to a much wider audience, especially for certain people who only have one type of platform or the other. And the other good thing is it's actually at a reasonable enough price. I'd say only $40 US when, we've had 2 recently big live service type games come out this year that launched at a full premium $70 US, to which I'd say none of those games are worth $70 no matter what. Even if you are interested in them, it's like they're not worth $70.
Oh yeah, like it's nice to see that this game knew, okay, we're gonna keep the price down. And it worked for them because on Steam it's like over 450,000 concurrent players. It beat out Destiny 2 at one point. I don't know if it's still beating it, but it's like they priced it well. You put the whole crossplay have that angle, and they've done very well with the marketing of the game. So it's like, yeah, it's great. And like you said, we've had other live service games that have come out earlier this month, and I don't hear even people talk about the one anymore.
No.
So it's like,
thankfully. Yeah, the one issue I do have with it is just besides the servers is simply the dodging of sorts. It only has like a dive where you go from a dive to a prone. It's like I would kind of like a dodge roll personally for this kind of game, so it just feels kind of weird without it. But yeah, if you definitely do not have friends though, you can definitely die really quickly. But they do have a mitigated issue where it's like every mission you can tackle in a varying degrees of difficulty, so that's good. But I'm pretty sure if you tried the hardest difficulty in some of these missions for challenging, yeah, have fun with that. At that point, it's going to be a scene from Starship Troopers where bad things did happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would like a better dodge mechanic. Hopefully we'll see what they're gonna do. I'm curious to see what will get added.
Yep, but nonetheless, though, I'm very interested where they go forward with this game. If there's more like expansions or content updates for it, and hopefully the servers are fixed, this definitely could be one of those games I play every so often when I got some time.
Agreed. Yeah, I want to play it more. At this point, I'm just going to wait a little bit longer to try again because I don't want to, book a session with you, Fryman, and we're like, okay, we got 2 hours to play. We both launch the game, and we're like, well, we're waiting to see if we both can get in the server tonight.
Yeah.
So you know what I'd love to see them do also. This is something like Pal World did. Let us host our own servers. So I would be very curious to see if we get that, what kind of stuff we could do there.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see if they can do something like that because that would help out too a lot, especially for certain groups of players, of course. But nonetheless, yeah, I'm looking forward to what they have in store for this game.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll just wrap it up here. We'd love to hear from everyone in the comments section. What do you think? Is this a game for you? Have you enjoyed it? Have you been playing it? Let us know in the comment section. And thank you so much, Fryman, for joining me and capturing the gameplay footage.
Thank you, Burley, for having me once again, and no problem. I look forward to more of this eventually.
Thank you so much. Definitely have you on again.